This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.
Vive la acción, el drama, el as featured meal. Escoge entre un QPC, Big Mac o McNuggets de 10 piezas para acompañar unas papitas medianas, sweet and sour sauce y una bebida. En carteleras ahora. Para pa. En McDonald's participantes por tiempo limitado.
Bummed sauced about how fucking difficult it is to get a divorce. So
you're like, why? Oh my God. Tell Keegan what you said about our friend who got divorced in Hong Kong. I'm shitting myself.
So apparently in Hong Kong, they have these cards that are like your ID, your debit card, like everything. They're like your everything card.
Dude, that is a terrible idea for someone like me.
I know.
The number of times I've lost shit, like the number of times I have misplaced my ID or my debit card. Like if it was all on the same card, I'm totally screwed.
You don't think you'd be more cautious with it if it was?
I mean, in theory, I would be, but like in reality, in coming home, like back when we're let out of the house again, coming home from the barrel at 2 a.m., take the cards out of my pocket and throw them on the counter. Keegan is not going to be concerned about.
Dude, when I was out dating, that first year, I had to replace my driver's license. Not once.
Oh, girl.
Not twice.
Oh, girl.
But thrice.
Oh, and that's
thrice.
The worst? Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And like, I'm here again. I lost my ID again.
They know you by now. They're
because I travel so much, I obnoxiously check for my ID. Like at an obnoxious level. Like places where I'm like, I didn't even take my ID out. Why are you checking? I'm like OCD about my like identity, like my passport and my, just because I'm like, I can't get on a plane. I can't go to work.
Yeah.
If I don't have these things. So I'm like constantly like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Is there a worse feeling when you misplace something like that and you cannot find it and you start getting like really frustrated
passport
about it? Yeah, any of that.
Dude.
Like even my debit card, if I can't find it and I'm like, I need it, and now I'm thinking about like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to go through the whole rigmarole of ordering a new one. I'm gonna not be able to spend any money because no one carries cash anymore for the next week until my new one comes in. You know, like,
what are you gonna go to the bank?
Yeah.
Well, my bank is in Springfield.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like you have a hometown bank. It's not like you can just run to the street, you know.
Oh God.
So anyways, you take these everything cards and you go to the courthouse and there's like a machine there.
Like a kiosk
or
divorce
whatever.
Kiosk.
You put your cards in the kiosk, you select divorce, it charges both your cards for it, and then you're done.
I mean,
I feel like that's kind of how it should be.
Yeah, honestly.
Especially if you don't have kids or joint property or whatever.
It's a completely amicable divorce. You guys are like, we're just taking out what we came in with. You know what I mean? And that's it.
I can show you because that is my case. So I can look up my case online to see all of the documents filed.
Jesus.
Girl, scroll. The amount of fucking documents that I've had to fill out and 4 times go to the courthouse to deal with.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
For why?
For why? And then now I need to sit and wait for it to get mailed back to me because apparently I messed up somewhere. And there's they don't tell you online or whatever. They just say it's rejected.
I really don't understand why it's so difficult. Like,
honestly,
what's the reasoning behind it? Like, because surely there is one, right? Like, there's surely a reasoning.
It's got to be like the puritanical thing of like, you know, the sanctity of marriage or whatever.
Through as many hoops as possible.
But also,
you're filing in California. I feel like that shit is so routine.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it should be incredibly easy in cases like mine. But I get it. There's got to be, you know, people that have taken advantage of that or whatever.
How?
So, and I'm just like,
okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't get it. Like, so many of these rules, sometimes it's hard to believe we live in 2020. You know, like I was watching a TikTok that this woman made about wanting to get her tubes tied. Basically, like she was like,
oh yeah,
and she's like,
Heaven forbid.
She's like, I was 27. I had 4 kids already. I was married. I went in and I was like, look, I'm done. I don't want any kids anymore. And the doctor was like, it's your husband here. You need to make another appointment. So she made another appointment, brought her husband. The doctor had to was talking to her husband more than like talking to her about like, are you done having kids? Do you want any more kids? Then he had to sign a paper and she signed under him.
That's
for her own.
Infuriating.
Isn't that?
That is.
But if he wanted to go get a vasectomy.
Oh, yeah.
I never had to do anything when Chris went and got a vasectomy. I didn't have to do anything. Like he just.
Well, it's his body, his choice.
Oh, of course. I mean, and if he didn't want to have any more children, that's fine.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? We live in we live in the 21st century.
Yeah.
You guys.
Wow.
We put a man on the moon.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently.
Oh my god.
That part's not real. And yeah, we still
Kubrick put a man on the moon.
It's infuriating that like literally I probably forgot to sign one place or put a date
Didn't fill in the right bubble.
something.
Oh my God.
And all this paper is getting sent back to me. I'm just like, this is so
so fuck the
dumb.
planet, am I right? You know, just
So dumb.
so
and
stupid.
you have to make triplicate. You have to make all these copies. So I'm just like, my divorce stack is crazy.
I get
12 inches
very
deep.
anxious around too much paper nowadays because everything is like digital. Anytime like I have too many stacks of paper things,
Oh, God.
I start to get like anxious.
If I get 2 days worth of mail on our thing in the front and like our little where the mail lands, my armpits are sweating right now thinking
it's
about
weird.
it.
We're not meant. Look, our generation is not set up to be dealing with stacks of paper, loose paper everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm going to misplace
And stop sending junk snail mail. Are we not past that yet? Like seriously. No, I don't want your new credit card. If I wanted a new credit card, I would go online.
Or even oh my God, I had the hardest time paying my insurance bill because like I've paid it before online, but you have to have the paper bill in order to go online because they give you a new little code with every statement.
You're like, bitch, I'm trying to pay you.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you money.
Why are you
honey?
making this
what
hard?
the hell?
Yeah.
So it took me fucking forever, but that's another thing where I'm like, can I not opt out of receiving paper statements? Can you not send me an email?
Is this your car insurance?
This isn't my health insurance.
Oh, girl. See, I got that Oscar shit, and it was an automatic withdrawal, and it was like just taken care of.
I mean,
and it was
that's what
so
my brother
easy.
has,
It
and
was
he
super
loves
easy.
it.
Oscar's great.
I
Yeah.
can set
High
up,
recommend.
I can set up an automatic withdrawal, and I should, but I have weird anxiety around automatic withdrawals because I'm like, what if for whatever reason, you know, like there's not money in there. There always is, but
Sure.
like for what if, you know?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
then I get like nervous.
Yeah.
And so I always want to pay.
I think that's my mom and me. I had to get over that too. Like that is for sure my mom. My mom still writes paper checks. I mean, like my mom is just like, I got to see it come in and go out. And like,
Anthony
just
still balances his checkbook.
Of course he does.
Yeah. Like sets
Mom.
aside time.
My mom
Chris
and dad,
had to get me out of this.
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
checks. They do the balancing the checkbook. It's
cute.
painful to watch.
It is.
Actually, always leads to some sort of pissing match.
This is the Capricorn in you though, girl, because Chris is the same way. He's like, why the fuck? Like on so many things. Like he's always like, why aren't you digital on this blah, 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 blah thing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know.
doesn't make-
He's had to walk me out of so many like paper things that now I am Keegan where I'm like paper stresses me out.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
it took a like I had to be walked there.
It's
Yeah.
also just wasteful. Like I thought about that. I'm like, all the shit that I get sent for my health insurance. I got something today and I was like, the amount of crap you guys send me. And I'm like, how much paper is being wasted? And yes, I recycle it, but still.
Girl, is this because I swear to God, they
Look,
the
I'm
worst.
not trying to put anybody on blast.
Yeah, you can
on
bleep
this
that.
podcast.
but- you can bleep
But
that.
yes,
But
but yes,
girl, I knew.
it was a mistake.
They're the fucking worst. I'm sorry.
It was a mistake.
I think that I had such an issue with them specifically because I traveled so much, and when I had them, it was like I'm traveling to tons of states that don't have the specific
That happened to me.
Yeah. And it makes everything so much more difficult. And I'm like, what if I'm in like Oklahoma and blah, blah,
Shit out of
blah.
luck.
And
You'd be
SOL.
getting a big ass bill.
I know.
Man. It's so.
Oh God, insurance in this country. Here we go.
I went honestly, like I feel like the oldest person on earth.
I know.
Like I'm like old man shouts at cloud level now because
Yes.
I was like having a full on conversation with Anthony. I like paused whatever we were watching to like rail against the healthcare system in this
girl.
country. I'm like, it's
Easy to do.
fucking ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
just-
Oh yeah, we had to pause the television show moment last night, but it was just because I was like a bottle deep in white wine and decided to argue vehemently about simulation theory.
Wow. And in which Eric was probably just nodding his head the whole
Yeah,
time.
pretty much. I just wanted him to acknowledge that it was possible. I don't even really believe in it. It was just really important for me for him to say
One
that
bottle
it was
deep, Christina.
possible. Oh yeah, and and we were watching the Heaven's Gate.
Oh
cult
Lord,
thing.
have
dear.
mercy,
So I have
girl.
to imagine that something in that triggered
shook
that
something loose.
conversation.
Yeah, it did.
But I was like upset all day, and then
Oh, it just
he
was
made
a-
me hot chicken sandwiches, and
Oh, bless
I
his
drank
heart.
some wine, and then
Look, I
There
was
we
thinking
go.
about this when I was in the shower today for some stupid reason. I was thinking about like my early relationship with Chris, like early on. And it does kind of remind me a little bit of you and Eric in ways that like it reminds I was just reminded for some obscure reason, like just popped into my head, like how many times I tried to sabotage that relationship, like how asinine and bullshit I was in the first year of our relationship. Like how we're still together is just because, bless his heart, Chris, because honestly, he was just like, you're not going to get out of this by that dumb shit because I can see through it.
Yeah.
Like it just was like, he was just like willing to put up with my dumb, crazy shit because he's just like, nah, I see what's going on here. And
Yeah.
this has literally nothing to do with our relationship, which is going to be amazing if
Yeah.
you just let it
if
happen.
it just no, I was legit sobbing like all
Yeah.
day, like face hurt sobbing,
Oh.
like peeling, like it was bad because I still had on like apparently some like retinol for the night before, and then I
no.
was
With the
dry,
salty tears.
sting,
Ooh,
sting,
shit.
yeah,
Burning, yeah.
burning my face.
Been there.
Your skin looks amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Can I be honest? Like, your skin looks really good.
It's work. There's is still some pop outs, but it's improving, not quickly, and it's costly. Curology is
No joke.
expensive,
Yeah.
but it seems to be working.
All that
so.
shit is expensive.
Girl.
Man.
Yeah.
What do you think of that peel I gave you?
I
It's
really
good.
liked it,
That's
yeah.
a good one. I like that one too.
I think it
the
did-
rose peel.
I think, not that one, but the other one.
Oh, yeah.
The vitamin C one. I think it did cause me to like have a few breakouts, but it's standard that like, okay, sometimes it like, it's purging, like it's worse before
Sure.
it gets better, you know what I'm saying? But I did really like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Speaking of a weird thing, and I just have to get this out so I don't forget to do it. And you can completely cut this if you want to, but we ordered Instacart and we got all our Instacart food, but we also got 4 big fucking things of
yes.
jicama.
Yes.
Would Eric like any jicama?
No, jicama's
Nobody wants
gross.
jicama. No one.
What am I going to do with this? Did I already talk about this on the podcast?
No, we were here
that's
last week. I mean, I don't know what to do. Decorate them like jack-o'-lanterns? I don't know. Make Christmas jicama?
They're even like they're pointless. And I know that there's going to be somebody
What am I
listening
gonna
who
do
loves
with
jicama
this?
because for some reason
It's
jicama,
a very big vegetarian thing.
Yeah,
I guess.
jicama had like a weird like resurgence the way that kale did almost. But it's a pointless vegetable. It tastes weird. It's hard. It's too hard to carve
Yeah.
into a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
How are you
Right.
gonna-
Yeah, no, it's
13 years
you know what?
later.
If you're listening to this, write a review with your favorite jicama recipe.
Please do.
Please.
Yes. Let us know because apparently like we don't know.
Yeah, maybe we're sleeping on jicama.
Maybe
Yeah.
we are. Maybe there's like a way to spice it up or something.
Maybe there's a
Because it
real
is-
strong jicama community out
You
there.
know what? I will say this for jicama. I will say this in defense of jicama.
Please title the podcast or this episode in defense of jicama.
Because it is a bland enough flavor that you probably could
Pick up.
soak it in something or like really season it a lot in some way and it would probably like take on the flavor of whatever.
The only thing I can think of is it in a stir fry. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like in a salad. I've had it in a salad.
And
it's I think it's more for the texture, like the crisp of it. Maybe. I don't know. To me,
it's like a water chestnut.
Which I don't like those either.
Huge. I have 4 huge jicama. Someone somewhere is very disappointed that they didn't get their jicama.
By the way, did they replace something you ordered,
No.
or it was just an extra added bonus?
We just had a bag of fucking jicama.
Wow.
I'm about to put it out on like our porch and be like, anybody wants
free
jicama. First come, first serve.
Put it on Facebook Marketplace. $80. Yes. High price jicama. Oh my God.
Oh man.
But speaking of leaving reviews, that is the best Christmas gift you could give to us this season, or holiday gift that you could give to us this season, would be a nice review. We got a couple of really nice reviews over the last like couple of months. And first of all, they make my day. And secondly, as a business, they are kind of like the best thing that you can do for us. So if you love us, please feel free to leave a review.
People. Yeah.
And
awesome.
the podcast you're listening to is My Worst Date. I'm Christina.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie. And Christina, you've like taken that over. Like, it used to be me. I used to be the one who was like, but now it's like, it's a you thing. And I like it. I'm not mad. I'm here for it.
What if you were mad? Like, what
if
if
I
you were
was
really
upset and I was over here with my arms crossed, not trying to stay warm, but just really mad that Christina is the one.
And as soon as we stop recording, I'll be like, I wasn't going to say anything.
Actually,
though,
as I push my glasses up, where are we in December? Because I know that we pre-recorded a few episodes. So where are we at?
This will be the one that is coming out on the 16th.
Okay, so we're not quite Christmas.
Yes.
Not quite Christmas yet.
Pre-Christmas.
Yes.
Got it.
Which is going to be interesting this year. It's going to be very cozy. Stay home. Stay safe.
Oh my God, we're doing Secret Santa though.
We are doing Secret Santa. I'm very excited. It is hard. You know, I organized a Secret Santa for our friend group. There's 22 people in the Secret Santa because it's something that we can do safely, virtually, and still be able to exchange gifts with each other. And it's very exciting. And I sent out the invite early for a December 20th party because I wanted people to have time to get the gifts, get them delivered, and all that stuff. But the downside is we all know who we have, and we have to sit on that information for so long.
If I don't tell, I will tell you. I'm going to tell you.
Cassie,
are we not supposed to open the gift until the party?
Right.
We're going to wait to open the gift till the party.
And Kizu had a really good suggestion. So like if you're sending it like through Etsy or like, you know, whatever, put SS, like their name SS, so they know it's Secret Santa, so they don't open it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Secret Santa, not the other SS.
Yeah. Maybe we should have thought about that. I'm going to have to bring that up. Wow.
But yeah, so it is hard to sit on the information, but that's what makes it fun is that when you open the gifts, you have to try and like guess who your Secret Santa was based on what you got and all that stuff. But
I'm going to tell you guys.
It's hard.
I say for next week, we have actually gotten some stories, some holiday stories, like some shorts and some longs, like submitted to us for the contest.
All
that we
holiday
did.
stories?
Yeah,
A special episode? A very special episode of all holiday stories?
Holidays.
And maybe no Crazy in Love. We just do like a bunch of them.
Ooh.
That's only because it's your turn to do Crazy in Love.
No. That is not what I was thinking.
Go find a Christmas murder. Like, there's some good ones.
I think this year has been hard enough without changing the format. I think we have to leave the Crazy in Love in there. In my opinion.
All right. Very
Christmas murder.
Very special Christmas murder.
Or, you know, it doesn't have to be a murder.
No, it's fine.
They're not always
I don't feel stressed or
murders.
pressured at all. This is fine.
I know. Yeah. I'm like wondering. I think I have a list in my book. I'll have to look at them because last year I did Peterson.
Right. Which is the one that I
which
think
is
of
the
immediately.
Christmas. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
But I think there's a list of like other ones.
I'll look.
So
I'll find something.
Okay.
There's one that I can think of, actually.
Oh, it isn't.
So I'll tell you off
Off mic.
mic. Yeah. So it's a surprise if you decide to go that route. So what should we do for Fuck, Marry, Kill this week?
Let's see.
You know, I'm going to save what I was watching for the end, but it did get me thinking. We have done directors once in the past, but we've only done them once, and there's so many.
Did we? I know that.
Didn't we?
I'm
'Cause we had-
certain I did Tarantino.
Yes.
Of course.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Who did we do?
The only one I can think of is Tarantino. 'cause
I think
I'm
we
not-
did
I don't
Tarantino
know.
films
Oh.
or Tarantino characters.
We did.
I don't know that we done directors
Okay.
because I don't think we did him specifically. Now that I think about it,
God. Yeah. Now that I think about it, I don't think we did either.
because I feel like we would have had a lot to say.
We have strong opinions
Yeah.
at this table.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I do love Tarantino, but
Yeah.
okay,
We don't have to
directors.
do
I
that.
like this
We can do
idea.
something else.
I like
Okay.
this idea. No, I like it. Okay,
I would pick Jon Favreau.
you bitch. That's a good one.
I know what he looks like,
Mhm.
which
Helpful.
I think there's only like 2 directors that I would be able to really.
George
describe-
Clooney directs now, doesn't he? I'm just
We
kidding.
already
hey,
did him.
I know.
I am going to pick Tim Burton.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Good. This is tough.
It
But
is.
I'm going to go with an Old Spice. I'm going to go Steven Spielberg.
Okay, a classic.
Yeah.
A classic.
I
Okay.
love him.
Okay.
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 All right.
Ooh, this is hard.
Mhm.
Ooh.
It is hard.
I think I know. I think.
Okay, you go first, son.
I think I know.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm going to marry Steven Spielberg.
Good
Okay.
call. Good call.
I feel like he's classic storyteller, just like
And a good guy.
and a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
I'm
have
like,
what, 50 adopted kids or some nonsense?
Does he?
A lot.
Yeah.
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 It's
And
awesome.
I think that there's something about, his films that make me think like there's just like warmth there.
Yes.
He feels warm. He feels safe. But also would be really interesting. Could tell
Yeah.
a good story. So
Oh, man.
it's fine.
Very good looking when he was younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna out of the 2 that are left,
Yeah.
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 who to fuck? I am going to fuck Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
I'm going to fuck Jon Favreau because he's, for me, it's not even about like swingers or anything like that, which I never really thought was that great of a movie. But
I do
seeing him
love
on the chef show
Oh.
and chef and
There
stuff.
was something really sexy about him in that movie.
Yeah, I don't think that I would enjoy having sex with him. I don't
Okay,
know. There's
all right.
something that doesn't seem like my cup of tea. But Tim Burton, Tim Burton is to me like I feel like I went on a couple dates with guys like him where just like weird for the sake of being weird and
Yes.
just would
Oh, he's definitely insufferable. There's
Yeah.
there's a
100.
level of insufferability.
Which is why he could only have been with, what's her name?
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
feels like
It's
a right
the
match.
only right
It's the
match.
only thing. I just am.
Well, apparently not because they got divorced.
I know.
Yeah.
They lived separately even when they were married.
Did they?
I think so. I think they had like,
Interesting.
yeah.
You
Don't
know
quote me
what,
on this,
though?
but I
I-
feel like I remember that they had like houses next to each other.
I feel like I'm gonna be the odd one out here. Okay,
Okay.
because I'm actually gonna marry Jon Favreau.
Okay.
There is something about Jon
Yeah.
Favreau that seems fun
Oh.
and like lovable.
Hilarious, dude.
I know this is just me. I don't know why. I think he's fine. I'm just like
You picked him.
0% attracted to him.
There's something cute about him when he
Yeah.
was younger, and even after. Like,
There's something attractive.
there's something cute
Yeah.
to me about him, and I don't know. I can't put
There's
my
a
finger on
quality.
it, but he has a quality that I like.
Yeah.
That I think is like.
I like
bright.
that he's into cooking.
Yeah, I mean, right?
Well, eat good
Yeah.
on the date.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Cooks
yeah,
for me.
he'll cook for you on the date
Yeah.
and buy like the perfect red wine to pair with your dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be fantastic.
Mhm. But he's also not stuffy, so he'll make you laugh.
Oh, he's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got funny friends.
Yeah.
So of the 3, I think the friend group would be the most fun. Jon Favreau's friend group.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna marry Jon Favreau.
Okay.
I'm gonna fuck Tim Burton. Okay,
I
hear me
got
out.
She's like, hear me out.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
It's gonna be weird.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so weird. It's gonna be an experience that I feel like one time it's not gonna be good. I don't
Right.
think.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same way you feel about Tom York, but kind of where
Right.
I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
he's
I
not gonna
feel
be
like
good.
the motherfucker has contraptions and things that you'd be like,
100%.
can like adding on to hit
There's
like
the-
Franken-Dick.
There's
You know?
definitely going to be
Dick.
There's going to be
Stop.
you're going to be in a room that's painted with like weird black and white spirals on the walls
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit like that, okay?
I hate it.
But it's going to be strange and probably not very good, and I do think that his personality is unnecessarily intense.
Yeah.
But it is an experience, okay? It is something to be experienced one time to say that you had an experience like that. So, and also
feel
maybe
like
it's some weird
maybe-
nostalgia thing because his movies really influenced my childhood in a
Oh,
very
yeah.
real
Yeah,
way.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some issues, some deep-seated issues that I
Sure.
need to go to therapy about.
Sure.
But yeah,
But that's what we're here for.
That's what-
Therapy.
Just working this out.
Just working
Just
it out right
talking
now.
it out.
I think fucking him would make your hair frizzy. You know what I mean?
Oh, and which I don't really need more of. But yeah, I mean, the
Like,
amount
is
of
that why Helena Bonham Carter's
her hair
is
is
always
still frizzy.
Wait, if that is the reason for her hair, then I will fuck him. 'Cause I fucking love her so
And you know what?
much.
Look, they're weird, but I kind of dig it. She's still super weird. Like, because I was just Googling her because I'm watching The
Crown.
Crown.
I love her.
And she's got a 32-year-old boyfriend now, and they seem very happy. But she looks the same. Like, she's still
Yeah.
wearing, like, crazy clothes, and
fucking
her hair
model.
looks insane.
Love her.
But it's fun to me that, like, these people existed and found each other
Yeah.
in this weird world.
Doesn't he say that she's his muse?
His muse, yeah.
Yeah, he put her in a lot of stuff. But so yeah, it's more of the experience of it. It'll be once. It'll never happen again. He'll probably not call me. It's fine.
Yeah. He doesn't have a real phone anyway.
Yeah, he's got one of those, like, what are those, rotary phones?
Rotary phones.
He's like,
He's like, I don't remember your number. Anyway.
anyway. And yeah, I love Steven Spielberg. I do.
Yeah.
And there is something warm about him. I have nothing against him. He seems like a nice dude. But he gives me the grandpa vibes.
Yeah, too much dad vibes.
In a way that
Got it,
it's not sexy
Got
to
it.
me.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like that's the only reason.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
it is.
So
So
it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to marry for love. And that I'm going to marry Steven Spielberg. He's just, I mean, a million reasons. He's amazing. And I am going to fuck Jon Favreau. And here's why. That scene in Chef with Scarlett Johansson, the fact that he was able to like make that somewhat believable that he could pull a Scarlett Johansson
Yeah.
is absurd.
there's an
But-
energy. But there's
there's
like
an energy.
a quality. He's got
There's-
a quality, I think.
There's
yeah.
something that like, yep, he's gonna feed you. You're gonna lay on the bed. You're gonna talk food shit.
He's
you're
the
gonna talk
type
about
of
stuff,
guy
and then
who
it'll
you
be
would
done.
go on a date with, and you'd walk in. It's a blind date. You walk in, and you're like, ugh. But then you sit down, and he wins you over completely, and you end
You're
up
exactly right.
end
Yeah.
up hooking up with him in spite of yourself.
Sure,
Right.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the one you tell your friends, you'd be like, you just got to get to know him.
Yeah. And I was gonna fuck Tim Burton until you talked about him, and
Sorry, but it's true.
He's so fucking. And I usually am one who's like weird. I'll take it. I like
Yeah,
weird.
same.
I'm weird, and I like weird, but
I
I don't like his movies. There's
Oh, I
not a
do.
single Tim Burton film that I like.
Oh, I love him.
Except for,
Oh.
okay, just kidding. Maybe Edward Scissorhands, but it's never a rewatch for me. There's nothing that I'm like, I know I'm the weird one. I know it's a hot take. I know Tim Burton stans are going to come after me hard on this.
That's Cassie talking, by the way.
yeah, no, I get it. It's just, it's not for me. You know, it's not my brand
it's
of
a
weird.
very specific aesthetic.
yeah, it's a specific brand of weird. And
yes.
it's his. You get
Yeah.
it. Like, I get it.
I was obsessed. I had
Yeah.
Tim Burton everything.
No, I get it.
lived in Hot Topic. I bought all that shit. We've
Yeah.
discussed this. But also there's something about like maybe it's also just this weird thing of like he seems so private that I'm like, I just want to see what your house is like.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
It's definitely like
It's
his
a
films.
he's your Crispin Glover.
yeah.
yes, for sure. Also would fuck Crispin Glover though, to be honest. So
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I would over Tim Burton, yes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it's not even like a looks thing because Wayne Coyne is like on my top 5 can cheat on Chris with. So like Wayne Coyne has, and he's weird and he's like psychedelic weird to me. Like it's a different weird. Anyway, I know we talked about this. We talked it into the ground. I do have one more thing I want to bring up, which is hilarious. And I don't know why, but I have to tell you guys this fucking story about our washing machine. Okay. So our fucking thing that you load your card, like to load your washing machine card on, has been broken for like 2 weeks, and it's been super fucking annoying. And I'm just like had this like really weird
2 weeks is too long. They
It's
should have
too
fixed
fucking
that.
long. We went
That's
to
ridiculous.
our friend's house to use their laundry machine because we didn't want to go to like a laundromat because pandemic.
Yeah.
And so I just went in there and I was like, oh, I don't know. I just got like this weird thing, like this weird buzz in my brain. And I was like, just started hitting the numbers on the number pad. And I was just like 999, whatever. And then it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. And it fucking worked. I fixed our fucking laundry machine thing by pushing 1, 2, 3, 4.
I feel like you have a new career now.
Our fucking landlord was like $200 off your rent this month because 1, 2, 3, 4. I was like, is that fucking the weirdest
because
shit?
they probably would have paid somebody.
That's what he said. He's like, I'd rather just give it to you guys than pay for the person who we've been waiting forever for this card to come or whatever.
That's
to
awesome.
fix it. I was like, is that the wildest shit ever? I just had this like little buzz in my head to do it.
It is awesome. Because also, like, it is the right thing for him to give you money off, but he didn't have to. So it's cool.
I mean, it's not like I opened the shit up with like a screwdriver and like went to town to fix it. I literally just hit 4 numbers and it worked.
No, and that's also, like Keegan said, that is good news because somebody did something nice. You know what I mean?
I
They
know. That's why I know. I'm like, I wanted to tell that story because I'm like, what a crazy fucking weird thing that happened this week. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's my story.
Also, before we go to break, we do have new patrons this week.
Yes.
Very exciting. So I want to give a big shout out to Margaret, just Margaret, which I always love.
I
It's
love
like,
it.
Like Cher, you know?
Wonderful.
I love it. And Kristen Smith. Thank
Hello.
you so much for joining us on Patreon. Your rewards will be coming very, very soon. And we do have, I hope you guys all enjoyed our review of the Bud Light seltzers. It was fun to make. And we also have a bonus Crazy in Love movie coming for you soon. So look out for that.
Yeah, we got Twilight this month and Happiest Season coming out.
Yeah.
So join us. And, you know, you get lots of cool stuff. If you join at levels, you'll get merch. It's Christmas season, so treat yourself. And you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds
Yes.
good.
Cool. And we're back. Okay, so this story is a little bit unusual for us.
Okay.
Because she asks for advice at the end. And I know we're not an advice podcast. # not an advice podcast. But I just thought it would be interesting to talk about it anyway.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm a 22-year-old female and matched with a 31-year-old male on Tinder. I knew he had kids, which didn't bother me, but I didn't think anything of it, which I should have. Yeah,
Okay.
you should have, but you're 22. So.
Yeah.
He is a cop, and one night he sent me a video of himself on duty, and I got a glimpse of his last name on his uniform. Look, this is the thing as well. She's 22. She knows how to use the internet. So you can't be sending shit like that with your personal deets.
Yeah.
I did some snooping and found his social media pages, and I also found his ex's profile as well. They had just gotten family photos done, and she posted them on her pages. I noticed he was still wearing his wedding ring. Well, that same night, he decided he was going to come meet me at 11 p.m. Remind you that I live 1.5 hours away from each other.
Yeah, after he tells his wife that he's got to work late.
Yeah.
That's not his ex.
Yeah, and also, like, he's dating a 22-year-old because you're like, you can come over at midnight, and, like, it's okay. Because I'm like, nowadays, you're hitting me up at 11 p.m. with a you up text, and you have to drive an hour and a half?
No.
My guy.
No, thank you.
Nah. Sorry.
No, you guys heard, like, it was like Wednesday nights at 10 was like the date time when I was dating. It was ridiculous.
My bonnet is on. Okay. I've already done my whole skincare routine.
Yep.
We're done. We're done for the evening. I ended up confronting him about my findings, and he said that he and his ex are super close and want a healthy co-parenting relationship for their kids.
Okay, Gwyneth Paltrow.
No. And even they don't get family pictures done together. Come on.
He encouraged me to reach out to his ex that night and would ask, dude, also, if it was your husband and his side piece called you at 12,
If it was my ex-husband and his new chick or whatever,
Anybody.
I'm like, don't call me.
I've got kids. Why are you trying to wake me up right now? Excuse you. Anyway, he encouraged me to reach out to his ex that night and would ask if I talked to her every time we would FaceTime or call each other. We end up hooking up and he drives home around 2 a.m. At 6 a.m. the same morning, he sends me pictures of his kids eating breakfast, which made me question a lot of things.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks go by. We only talk to each other while he's working, which made me very suspicious. But I end up going to his place after he got off work, which was around 6 a.m. I noticed he had a picture of his ex hanging up in the house and asked why he still kept pictures up. At this moment, he told me they are still married.
Shocker.
Shocking.
Yeah.
I
Also, what are you doing, like, texting your 22-year-old girlfriend when you're supposed to be protecting and serving?
Yes.
So, I don't like that.
Just wasting the taxpayers' money. I left around 2 p.m. He made sure I got home safely, but other than that, I didn't hear from him for the rest of the day. I go on social media to see if either of them updated pictures together or anything, and I was blocked on both their accounts.
Interesting.
He maybe sent me... This is the weirdest part for me. After this, she's blocked, right? He maybe sent me 3 videos of his kids after that, but no actual conversation would take place.
That's
Isn't
bizarre.
that bonkers?
That's so fucking
Who
weird.
does that? That's so weird. Like,
That's really
I don't-
weird.
here's some pictures and videos of my children.
Oh, no.
No.
Absolutely
strange.
fucking not.
Very strange. He kept unadding me and re-adding me on Snapchat. He hasn't added me back on Snapchat, nor have we texted in about 2 months. I even talked to my mother about this and told her everything, asking for some advice, and she said I shouldn't reach out to his wife and to just drop the situation before someone went crazy on me. She
Yep.
watches Dateline, if you can't tell, as do
Yep.
we.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, like,
Run.
just, just be done
I
with it.
agree, because that is her question. But I'm just wondering if I should have reached out to his wife, and also just looking for different perspectives on the situation in general. Look, if it had continued, then I would say, like, maybe, I guess, if you want to, but, like, it's over. So
Yeah.
He's
there's-
not contacting you. It's, like, blocked and stuff.
it's
and
been
just,
2 months. Like, why reopen
yeah.
the situation? Like, it's not
Is she
your
asking
business.
to, like, contact the wife because they hooked up and she thinks they're still together and that he cheated on her? Like, is she asking, like...
I think that's what she's asking. I think she's saying, like, I don't think that the wife knows that her husband's on Tinder and running around doing this stuff. And should I tell her?
Ooh, that's actually a question.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
hard question. I mean, I'm inclined, because so much time has passed,
Yeah. To let it go.
to let it go. But at the same time, like, would you want someone to tell you?
I mean, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I would. But at the same time, too, I'm like, are you putting everyone in danger? Like, this seems weird. Like, this is all, I'm all datelined in my head now.
Right.
Well, and
You know,
this
like
guy,
Chris Watt here.
I think the
Fucking-
behavior with the kids is weird.
It is weird because
Yeah.
that's the part that actually weirded me out the most, because I'm like, are you looking for a new mommy for your kids? And
Yeah, like, why is he so
Or
intent on
it's
dragging
weird.
his kids into this
It
relationship?
could be like a handyman situation
Yeah,
where
but you
it's
guys were
like,
you guys,
you know what I mean? Where it's like she does know they're like an open relationship or whatever.
But why would
doing
he
their own
lie
thing.
about it then? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if that's the case, then
and
you
that
can
happened over a course of a period of time.
Right.
It wasn't just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like if it was an open relationship, he could have just said that. And said,
Exactly.
like, hey, yeah, my wife and I have an
Right.
arrangement. Like, you know.
You can call her and check or whatever.
Right, yeah, go ahead and call her and, like, check. Because that's also weird that he would tell her to call his wife
Yeah.
and ask and then block her.
from doing so.
On both accounts?
It kind of felt like, here's what I think it might not be weird. He was it was like after midnight. He's over there. He's like, just call her and check. And she's probably like, no, it's late. And he's like, well, you can call her tomorrow. Like, just so he could get his dick wet that night.
Yeah.
Knowing that she's not going to fucking
do it.
Yeah. Or whatever. So it could be.
That's where my brain went too. I was like, I don't know. This whole thing is so weird.
It's bizarre,
at this point, though, if you're not really talking to him anymore, I just
let it go.
Between y'all.
Yeah, I'm inclined to let it go as well. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Interessante. I got my story from Reddit. And this is titled "My Worst Pre-COVID Date Story." I think we have to say that now. Like, you just got to like clarify, right? Last year, I accepted a guy's invitation to go out for sushi. He arrived at the restaurant before me, and I immediately felt weirded out that he went and sat himself down first, and he didn't bother coming out to greet me. He basically just told me to come inside and gave me directions where I could find him, which I couldn't do even after asking the staff for help. After walking around the restaurant some more, I finally found him, only because I finally noticed him staring at me. He didn't bother waving me over.
That's weird.
I know. Or even stand up to come get me. Basically just watched me walk around like a buffoon the whole time and didn't say or do anything.
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
Is
just like the
weird.
idea that he's like watching her struggle. It's
like, oh man, that's
like
the worst.
Sipping Chardonnay. It's like,
this bitch is my date, and I'm just gonna watch her do this. I tried to keep an open mind, but the date only continued to go downhill from there. 1, he had a normal conversation with me for a few minutes, then became completely immersed into his phone. So fucking annoying.
Oh, that's hella rude.
It's so rude. Why am I here?
I'm still caught up on the whole being lost thing. So I get a little bit irrationally mad.
Yes.
At being lost.
Oh, I do too. It's the same thing
like,
we were just talking about when you misplace
you're
something and you
frustrated.
can't find it.
It's
because it's frustrating.
So
Yes.
why would you want to start off a day like we're already starting off on a bad foot, my man? Because I am upset and anxious.
Yeah,
So
now
I don't
I'm
like being
annoyed.
lost.
And then you're upset and anxious in front of other people, strangers, which is also very frustrating.
Yes.
Like an extra layer of anxiety, you know? Yeah. He would not respond or respond curtly when I tried to start another conversation. When asked,
Why are we here? Are we not
Thank you.
here to converse and get to know each other? Why
Is
are
this
we here?
a date? Why am I here?
I just walk away.
Right? When asked if we wanted one or separate checks, and without asking or even giving me a chance to answer, he told them separate checks. I didn't expect him to pay for me, but I just didn't know how I didn't like how he forced the situation. I was essentially like the guest because he invited me out and felt that he should have had the courtesy at least to ask if I was okay paying half. I was also mad because he just spent an entire meal ignoring me. So the gesture made me feel even more like chopped liver.
This is a waste of money, time, makeup.
Everything.
Well, and listen, like I went on plenty of dates where you meet the person in person and there's no physical chemistry.
Sure.
That's fine. But you don't
sit
have
in
to
your
be a fucking asshole about it and make somebody feel like shit. That's terrible.
Yeah.
If that's what he was doing, like fuck him. That's an awful thing to do to somebody.
Honestly. To save the date, I asked if he wanted to walk around the city, doing some window shopping. He said yes. We left the restaurant together, but then he immediately got into an Uber waiting for him outside the restaurant and left me standing dumbfounded on the sidewalk. To top it off, when I got back home, he messaged me asking if I wanted to come over that night. I blocked him.
You motherfucker. Can the audacity.
I know. Yeah, sure. Let's go walk around. Bye. What? What?
And then to still think that you're going to get some after
Come
that?
on over.
Wow.
No, thank you, sir.
I can like see that guy in my head.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know what he's wearing. I know his age. I know what his fucking 1-bedroom apartment looks like. I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him. Okay. Mine's from Reddit too. Is on this really, really great worst date thread. It started off with like somebody telling a story of going on a date that they thought was going great that turned into a pyramid scheme, like Herbalife thing.
Love it.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
And he specifically wanted her to pay attention to the weight loss supplement once. It was dirty. So there was like thousands and thousands of comments. But this one, she goes, "Oh boy, I had to make an account specifically to respond to this. I have 2 fabulous gems to share, both of which recently happened to one of my friends. She doesn't have the best luck with guys." Story 1. Met a guy who worked for a cruise liner that sails out of Baltimore. He was a friend of a friend, sort of. So they met a few times here and there, and eventually he asked her out. When he picked her up, he asked if she wanted a tour of one of the cruise ships, thinking that would be a cool thing to do before they went to dinner. She agreed.
It is a cool thing to do, but I have a feeling.
He took her on a tour of the staff living quarters and then proceeded to tell her that their dinner date was going to be on board the ship. He fed her the employee meal with his coworkers, which on that particular night happened to be fish sticks.
No.
What? Oh my God.
So I don't know why I think that's
Bandicamp.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He sat her down for like a kindergarten meal.
No.
Like oh no.
I can't think of a least sexy.
No.
You know what? I can.
meal. I think-
if they served you that like rectangular pizza with the little mini pepperonis
Wait,
on
those
it,
are so good.
those
Are so good.
but fish sticks.
Fish sticks.
Then he took her to his room, sat on the bed, and said, "So we're gonna fuck now?"
Excuse me?
We now refer to him strictly as fish sticks whenever the story goes.
Oh my God.
no.
What in the fuck?
Story 2. After recovering from fish sticks, she was reintroduced to her friend's boyfriend's best friend. When she had met him before, he had a girlfriend, but was now single and was very interested in my friend. He asked her out. She accepted. And about an hour before they were supposed to go, he canceled, saying that he had a situation to deal with, but rescheduled for the next week.
Is your situation a wife?
Thinking nothing of it, they went out for drinks as planned. The date was great. They got along well, but he kept getting phone calls and texts that he ignored that he said were from his crazy ex-girlfriend who wouldn't leave him alone. But he told her he hadn't spoken to his ex in a long time, so she again thought nothing of it. They were pretty drunk when they left, so they took a cab back to his place. Upon arrival, the first words out of his mouth were, "Oh shit."
Oh no.
When she looked out her window, there was his ex sitting on the front steps waiting for him. When they got out, he told her to wait and he would take care of it. He walked up to his door and went inside with his ex. No explanation, just casually shut the door behind him. So my friend, being drunk and not knowing what else to do, knocked on the door.
No.
His ex answered the door, called her a whore, slammed it in her face. At this point, naturally, it started to rain.
Oh my God.
And also, her phone chose that particular moment to die.
No.
So there she was, sitting alone on the neighbor's steps, basically in hysterics with a dead phone and no way of getting home. Luckily, and
What a piece of
embarrassingly,
shit. This is funny, but I'm
furious.
also like completely furious.
Right. Oh my God. He's
Who
just
does
like,
this to another
hold on
person?
just a second.
Who does this?
Thunder starts raining.
Also, guys, in the year 2021, can we as women all collectively agree not to go after the other woman and call her a whore
Okay.
for
Yeah.
something that your stupid fucking boyfriend did?
She knew. Exactly. She had no idea. Yeah, it's terrible. Luckily and embarrassingly, his neighbors heard her crying and invited her in to use the phone. She finally
them.
got in touch with her best friend and got a ride. He called her a week later to see if they could go out again.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And she killed him. No, just kidding. I was like, my God.
Justifiable homicide. Let's be real.
But yeah, I literally, when I read that fish sticks one, I was like, I literally can't think of a less sexy first date.
It
wanna
smells
fuck?
like fish and it's greasy.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my
So
god.
you want to fuck?
So you want to fuck?
on my twin bed in my
my cot.
in my dorm sized room on a ship,
My employee cabin.
Oh God.
which I probably share with someone else.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Sock on the door.
Oh God. Like,
Ugh.
gosh, that is what a wild time. Like early college time, whenever like a guy would take you back to his dorm room to make out.
Yeah.
The most uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I once made out with a guy in the lobby that enters into the dorm area because his roommate had someone in the dorm. Horrible.
Wow.
Horrible.
Wow.
Okay. Are you ready
Yes.
for the crazy in love this week? All right.
I don't know your last one. Woo.
I
I'm still reeling.
don't know that this is going to top St. Olga, but
Dude,
you know.
What can, dude?
Really?
I was re-listening to it, like that fucking.
I rarely re-listen to our episodes, but that episode, I was like, I need to hear that story one more time because that is
fucking little kid on the horse.
I really
Dude.
need, if anyone has listened to that episode who is an artist, please, I want the fan art of like, I want your little.
I would wear that
drawing,
shirt.
Yes, of the little kid with his
with the
tiny
bow
bow and arrow, charging into battle, ready to just decimate an entire village. I need to know.
best.
A little like 2-year-old. Okay. Anyway, this isn't that. So, so today we are going to talk about the giggling granny,
Ooh.
the lonely
Oh.
hearts killer,
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know
this
this story.
one.
Yeah.
Yay.
Lady Bluebeard herself, Nannie Doss. All
Nice.
right. So Nannie was born on November 4th, 1905, which I feel like so long ago. It's so weird. Time is weird. Anyway, yes.
It was a long time ago.
You're giving me flashbacks to the conversation that I had with Eric last night about time. I was like, my Nana was born in the early 1900s, and look at what happened in 100 years. And it was not good.
It's
Wow.
insane. Yes, time is strange. But anyway, she was born in 1905 in Blue Mountain, Alabama. And she was born as Nancy Hazel. But Nannie, I guess, was a very common nickname for Nancy. I think that Nannie is a very odd name to call a person who is under the age of 55, but so be it.
Right,
Anyway,
okay.
they call
Different
her Nannie.
times.
Different
Different
times. Her mother's name was Louisa, who went by Lou, which I do think is cute. A little girl going by Lou, and James Hazel. And Nannie was one of 5 children. She had 1 brother and 3 sisters, but both Nannie and her mother had a common bond over their hatred of James, the dad.
Oh,
Because
Jesus. Oh,
he was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Shit.
he was a piece of shit, but probably inappropriate to be like buddy with your daughter about how much you hate your husband.
Your
That'll-
dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not good. But he was really controlling. At the age of 7, while the family was taking a train visit to visit relatives in southern Alabama, the train stopped suddenly, and Nannie lurched forward and hit her head really hard on the metal bar in the seat in front of them.
And there you have it.
And there you
And
have
then she started killing bunny
a
rabbits.
frontal lobe injury.
Yep.
So she, from then on, suffered severe headaches, blackouts, and depression, and did so for the
Blackouts.
rest of her life. Yes. Nannie's father forbade all of the Hazel sisters from going to dances or other social events, or from wearing makeup and attractive clothing, as he believed it would prevent them from being molested by men.
Okay, John Lithgow.
Which one I feel like really... what did John
What?
Lithgow do?
I'm a wait,
Wasn't-
what?
Wasn't he the guy in Footloose?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like...
I thought you meant like the actor, like he did. I was like,
Me
shit.
too. I was like,
what he
"James
do?
T on John Lithgow?
I was like, it like glazed over for 1 second, and then I was like, wait, what?
You and I at the same time were like, huh? But I also look, guys, men, male listeners, if you feel like you have to do all of that to protect your daughters from being molested by men, maybe that says something about what you think about men. Just saying.
Maybe
Yeah.
train your sons.
Yeah. Despite this, shockingly, When Nannie was in her early teens, she was molested by several men in the town. And
Wait, so you're saying it doesn't have to do with what she was wearing?
I know, mind blown.
I can't believe it.
Wow.
I am shook.
And here's the thing, though. Like, so he did all of that because clearly he knew that there was a possibility, being a father of 4 daughters, of them being molested. And then it happens. And then she goes to him and he doesn't believe her. He dismisses her completely.
He's like, no, your dress ugly. You can't possibly have happened.
Cannot comprehend. Yeah, I did all the things that I was supposed to do to keep this from happening. So you're lying, I guess. Also, he was so controlling. He didn't believe in schooling, especially for the girls, but all of the siblings were not permitted to go to school because her father expected everyone to stay home and help out on the farm. So she didn't really have much of an education to speak of. She taught herself to read using her mother's romance magazines and novels, and spent a lot of her time really dreaming about her romantic future. Can relate. I did the same thing, with Jane Austen and Bronte sisters novels, just toxic fantasy.
Just daydreaming away.
Yeah, As she got older, she took to reading the Lonely Hearts columns of the newspapers for fun. And she became somewhat obsessed with this idea of romance. And some people speculate that she used romance as an escape from the mistreatment that she suffered from men in her life, which makes sense to me. You think about your Prince Charming and things are going to be better.
Yep.
By 1923, her father was pushing for her to get married. And so, at the age of 16, after just 4 months of dating, Nannie marries a boy named Charlie Braggs. Now, Charlie is an only child to a single mother who insisted on continuing to live with him after he was married.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Wow, woo-wee wow.
Yeah. His mother was super protective and controlling, and she did not like Nannie very much. I think we all know this type. Right.
Oh,
no one is good enough for my precious little prince.
Oh, God.
I mean,
Charlie is,
I really love my son, but there is definitely someone out there.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Gotta set
Someone
up some
take him.
And Nannie says that her mother-in-law basically controlled every aspect of her life within the household, which is no fun. So between 1923 and 1927, which is a short period of time, Nannie gives birth to 4 daughters.
That's 4 years.
4 years, 4 daughters, age 16 when she first starts.
Hate this life.
Yes.
Already.
It's terrible.
I hate this life.
She hates it too. She becomes extremely stressed.
Don't blame her.
Unhappy.
I'm surprised that they were allowed to have sex.
I mean,
Oh, that's so...
that might be why they were forced to get married. Who knows? But she's super unhappy in this marriage. Of course she is. It sounds like hell. And so she starts drinking and smoking heavily.
Yeah.
And both
Relatable.
I mean, I was, okay, again, the deep...
I'm happy and do both.
Sidebar on the deep, crown rabbit hole I've been down. I was watching a YouTube video about Princess Margaret, and they were trying to highlight how, out of control and unhappy she was. And they were like, she started drinking vodka at noon. And I was like, oh.
Blink, blink, blink.
Oh, no.
The other thing that I learned that's kind of cool from The Crown is that apparently if you work at Buckingham Palace, there's little gin stations.
Wait,
you
what?
get free. You can drink for free on the job.
Wait, I need this job.
Yeah, the Queen has gin stations all over Buckingham Palace.
I mean, God bless the
Perfect.
Queen, am I
Yeah.
right?
And she drinks several mixed drinks a
And good
day.
for
They
her.
all
So-
do. I mean, look, I mean, the Queen actually has a job to do, but everybody else kind of doesn't have a job.
They're all just living off her.
they're just kicking it. They're living off the taxpayers. So they're just kicking it, drinking scotch all day. All right.
But yeah, apparently one of the staffers got really fucked up on the free gym one day, and the Queen just stepped over him. He didn't get fired or whatever, but she was just like, lightweight.
Honestly, she's like, I've built up a strong gin tolerance.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about those super rich people. Let's go back to Nannie's
The polar opposite.
But anyway, so she starts drinking and smoking heavily, and both she and Charlie start having affairs outside of the marriage. And Charlie would often disappear for days on end, leaving Nannie and the girls alone with his mother.
I hate it.
Really shitty.
Thanks, I hate it.
In 1927, the 2 middle daughters, who are just months apart in age, both die mysteriously from food poisoning. So Charlie described that he left for work in the morning and the kids seemed fine. But then he came home to find them both dead on the floor.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
You page me at work. Like,
Yeah.
you call me.
Also-
like, you don't just let me come home. Like,
Yeah. What's going on? And that the grandmother didn't do anything about it?
I don't, you don't
Where
call
is
somebody.
Where is everybody?
You don't
Yeah,
pick,
Where's the adults in this
you
house?
don't pick the kids up off the floor. You don't do
What's
anything.
happening?
Yeah.
Anyway, Nannie said that not long after they had their meal, they experienced convulsions and then just died.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, it happens.
Despite the fact that this seems sus as fuck, no one suspected foul play. Nannie seemed to all like a grieving mother, and even when the family collected the life insurance policies that were taken out on the girls, everybody was kind of like, it happens. It's 1927.
Right. Exactly.
This is just something that happens, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but what I did find strange is like, is it normal? I mean, I don't have kids. Is it normal to take out life insurance policies on your young children?
I mean, it feels weird. I feel like I mean, maybe people do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let us know if you know.
Feels weird, doesn't it? Like,
It does to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially in 1927 when they don't have any money. Like, why are you taking
mean,
out life insurance policies on
maybe
your
to
kids?
cover like a funeral cost?
Maybe it would be more common back then, though, because of the high death rate. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like
I guess.
tuberculosis, polio.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like,
Mhm. Yeah, maybe
fucking-
so. And they will have to cover funerals. So maybe that's the case. I don't know. But Nannie may have had the rest of the world fooled, but Charlie was suspicious. So not long
Good job, Charlie.
Not long after this, he takes the couple's oldest daughter, Melvina, and skips town, leaving the youngest baby, Florine, and his mother alone with Nannie.
I don't like that.
I don't like this.
You should take both the kids. Like, if you're worried, it's weird to leave, like,
that doesn't sound like I'm worried for my family. That sounds like I want to take my oldest daughter.
well,
I don't like it. It sounds super creepy.
also, I just have to point out Melvina and Florine are two very, like, 1920s names.
Florine?
Florine. It kept correcting it for me to be
To
like,
fluoride.
yes.
100%.
Yes.
It's fluoride.
A few months after Charlie left, his mother dies.
What?
And that's that on that.
Yeah.
There's no information. It's just like, she died. She died.
Bye, bitch.
Which, yeah, you can
Surprised she waited a
imagine
month.
Nannie just snapped. Like, she's just like, I can't be with this woman anymore. Charlie returns a while later with his new lady and hands Melvina back over to Nannie. And he asks for a divorce so that he can marry his new boo. And then later days, the fuck out of there. He's like, bye. Enjoy the kids. See ya.
God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Woof.
Mm-hmm.
Woof, woof, woof.
So Nannie takes the two girls and moves back into her mother's house in Cedartown, Georgia. And it's there that Nannie meets Frank Harrelson through a Lonely Hearts column in the newspaper. Nannie is only in her early 20s at this point. She has lived a life, you guys. Like, I'm like, you've lived a full life and you're in your early 20s, but all right. And the two of them, Frank and Nannie, have a whirlwind romance before quickly marrying in 1929. So Frank moves in with Nannie and the girls, and almost immediately after he moves in, Nannie realizes that Frank is a raging alcoholic.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
Good times.
triggering.
Oof.
Yeah.
And is in a huge amount of debt. He's constantly getting into fights. He's in and out of jail and just, you know, an all-around gem. Despite this, Nannie stays married to Frank for 16 years. It would be her longest marriage. Yeah.
Oh.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. Yeah.
Especially when you know how to poison people already.
Yeah, so she must have liked him.
There was something, clearly, yeah.
Woof.
By this time, her daughter Melvina has gotten married herself and has given birth to her first son, Robert Lee. And then it's the 20s, or it's the 30s, I guess, at this point. Or the 40s? We're in the 40s now. 2 years after this, she gives birth to another child, a daughter. Nannie assists with the birth. And the labor is extremely difficult. It kind of sounds like she gave birth at home, possibly, but I'm not sure. But Nannie was very involved in the delivery, yeah. And by the time...
I didn't know she was a nurse or a doctor.
Look,
That's weird.
I really just picture olden times as basically like anything goes. The doctor was probably drunk anyway. It's fine.
She's like, where's the gin?
Yeah, for real. By the end of it, Melvina is all drugged up on ether. She's barely awake. She's drifting in and out of consciousness. And as she's drifting in and out, she sees her mother sitting next to her, holding her daughter. And through the grogginess, she thinks she sees her mother push a hat pin into her daughter's head.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
And then she passes out. When she wakes up, she's told that her infant has died. And when she asks her husband and sister what happened, they say that Nannie said that the baby just didn't make it. Though they do both admit to having
Did they put that on the death certificate?
Just didn't make it.
Just didn't make it.
Cause of death.
Just didn't make it. They both admit to having seen Nannie holding a hat pin. And the doctors were just all shoulders in this situation. They're like, meh.
Just didn't make it.
IDK, you know? The stress of their daughter's death causes Melvina and her husband to separate. And Melvina starts dating a man that Nannie did not approve of. And apparently...
Also got a hat pin to the head.
apparently...
He just didn't make it.
It's terrible.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. Apparently this caused the two, Nannie and Melvina, to fight a lot. They had a lot of arguments over this relationship. And one time, after a particularly nasty fight, Melvina left to go stay with her dad to cool down. She was like, I'm going to go stay with Charlie. I can't handle being around you because you're insane. But there's a real issue here with people continuing to leave their children alone with this woman.
What?
Because she leaves
Why?
her
Why
son.
would you do that?
I don't
What's
know.
wrong with you?
I don't know.
Especially if you
Suspect.
thought you saw.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So she left her son Robert in Nannie's care, and he died in her care on
Just
July.
didn't make it.
Just didn't make it on July 7th, 1945. The death was diagnosed as asphyxia from unknown causes.
I think we know. I think the known cause.
Asphyxia from unknown causes.
Ghost.
Feels suspicious.
A ghost sat on his face.
I think that they, like, in some of the things I read, they were kind of like, maybe he choked on his dinner or something. Like, something like that happened, and, like, that's how he died. But I'm like, you don't investigate or
Oh, man.
something? Like,
Wow.
okay. But 2 months later, Nannie collected the $500 life insurance that she had taken out on Robert.
On her grandson.
On her grandson.
I need to get better at this. I'm going to get some life insurance policies going.
There you go. There you
Accidents
go.
happen, yo.
Yeah. Sometimes people just don't make it.
Just don't make it.
It's terrible. Okay. Sorry. At this time, Nannie is still married to Frank. And in 1945, after Japan surrendered to the Allied forces during World War II, Frank goes out to celebrate. He's cutting loose. He's partying, right? He's a heavy partier. When he gets home, drunk later that night, he wakes Nannie and rapes her.
Oh.
Yuck.
You don't deserve to make it.
The next day, Nannie finds the corn whiskey that Frank keeps hidden buried in the garden for some reason. That was the detail in all of the like articles I read, and I was like, why is he burying his whiskey in the garden? We're not during Prohibition times. I don't understand.
Maybe because if she had it in the house, like she'd dump it,
Or
you know what I
maybe.
mean.
Okay.
Or she's like, I don't like you drinking, and you know,
Yeah.
So he had to hide it from her.
Bury it. Well, she finds it, his white lightning, buried out in the garden, and she pours rat poison in it and buries it back, right? Leaves it there for Frank to find.
Well, there you go.
He died that evening.
Surprise.
But not to worry. Our girl Nannie is a hopeless romantic, and she is not ready to give up on love yet.
No.
So she picks up that newspaper and starts browsing the Lonely Hearts column yet again. And while traveling through Lexington, North Carolina, she meets up with a man named Arlie Lanning. I love the idea of her. Arlie's kind of cute,
I do
right?
like that. Mm-hmm.
I do love the idea that she's like traveling from town to town. It's like opening Tinder in a new city.
Yes.
Like she's like looking at the lonely. She's getting the newspaper in every town she goes to and looking at the Lonely Hearts column.
I'm going to swipe right on this one.
Mm-hmm. So she marries Arlie 3 days after meeting him.
Wow.
They marry and they meet.
Wow.
3 days. Getting it done, right?
His heart was lonely.
Yeah.
Like her previous husband, Lanning was an alcoholic and a womanizer.
Man, she can pick him.
She's got a great picker, you know.
Yeah.
However, in this marriage, it was Nannie who would often disappear for months on end sometimes. She would just leave, and both of them...
She's like, I do what I want.
I do what I want. And
I do what I want.
They both cheated on each other constantly.
She's like, I do what I want.
But when she was home, she played the doting housewife. She was an avid churchgoer. She was close to the minister and his family. She really was this kind of idyllic, perfect 1950s housewife. It said that other women in the town, this is the most like 1950s, like, oh God, thing. Other women in the town were actually jealous of her housekeeping skills. Apparently, her laundry smelled so good, and the other women in the town were like begging for her a secret because they needed to make their husband's clothes smell that good too. And she would never reveal her secret as to like what made her laundry smell so good.
Dryer sheets. I can only wish that one day people are like, I'm just so jealous of your housekeeping skills.
Yeah. No one's going to say that to me.
Never. Me either. Oh my God.
And which is so funny because the three of us are not messy.
No.
We're not messy, but I was brushing my teeth and I have this like, I have this mirror and I was brushing my teeth and I was like looking and like the top part of the mirror, because I never look up there, there's just like a thin coating of dust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, oh, look at that.
Yeah. My mirror's kind of small, so I do around the edges.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a good housekeeper
But you feel like a
would
real
be.
tile. Yours is high, your mirror.
Yeah, and it's not my main mirror, but yeah, it's still higher than I would normally look.
Sure.
But I feel like a good housekeeper dusts often, and I don't dust enough to be a good housekeeper. But anyway, it's the most 1950s thing to me that like the other women in town were like, her house is so clean. You know,
Well, it's clean because she killed all the kids that make it dirty.
Amen, girl.
There you go.
But people loved her and they felt sorry for her because Arlie was known to be like kind of a dickhead. Like everybody knew that he was drinking all the time.
He does not deserve to smell that good.
No. Yeah, exactly. He was running around on her. Like at least Nannie had the decency to like get out of town for her fuckery, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't doing it in the town they live in. But either way, when Arlie died of what was said to be heart failure in 1950, the townspeople supported her at his funeral. They were like, look, he drank all the time. This tracks, right?
Yeah.
Again, Arlie had life insurance taken out on him, which Nannie quickly redeemed. However, the house that they lived in was left to Arlie's sister. So Nannie burns it down.
Good for her.
Because
She's like, fuck you, you piece of shit.
Like waiting to exhale. Again.
because even though the house had been left to the sister, the insurance was in her name. So
Ooh,
Nannie,
girl.
yeah, she knew what she was doing. She collected that life insurance and then she collected the property insurance on the house. So she had got a pretty substantial payout from Arlie in general.
I should not applaud. I'm not applauding her.
No, we really shouldn't, guys.
No.
But okay.
Yeah.
She's
horrible. She's terrible.
She is a terrible, terrible person. She is a terrible person. We're not trying to make light of the fact that she is a serial killer.
Yeah.
And kill babies.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Girl, she killed them kids. All I see in my head is that fucking Burton death certificate with just didn't make it.
You just find it on like ancestry.com. You like view the documents. It's in that fucking old timey cursive.
Yes. Doctor signed below. Just didn't make it.
We're laughing about the most horrific thing that could
I know.
ever happen.
I
It's
know.
terrible.
I know.
Like, we have to stop.
Oh God.
Okay. Anyway, after Arlie's dead, house is burned down, right? Money, money, money. Mm-hmm. She moves in with her mother-in-law, Arlie's mom, who was... It was funny. She was suffering from a broken hip, and so she was in bed, laid out.
She's like ringing this little bell. Nanny's like stirring in the soup.
I'm coming. Soon after, she mysteriously dies in her sleep. What?
I mean, she was old.
She was old.
tracks.
Exactly. It
Tracks.
happens. So Nannie left North Carolina and ended up at her sister Dovey's home. I had an Aunt Dovey.
I love Dovey.
Yeah, that's my great grandpa's sister's name, Dovey. Isn't that cute?
Oh, I love that.
Dovey was bedridden and suffering from cancer. So soon after Nannie's arrival, she died. I mean, she had cancer.
I mean, she had cancer.
Yeah.
Totally.
So-
she just didn't make it.
Yeah.
So now Nannie is on the hunt for hubby number 4. So she joins a dating service called the Diamond Circle Club and soon meets Richard L. Morton of Jamestown, North Carolina. So they get married in Emporia, Kansas. This bitch is moving all over the place. She has lived everywhere, right? So shortly after their marriage, Nannie's mother, Lou, moves in with the couple. Nannie's father had died and Lou needed somewhere to go. And a few days after Lou moves in, she, shocker, gets very, very ill. She starts suffering from severe stomach cramps and soon drops dead. R.I.P. Mommy.
Wow.
Nannie gets back to married life with Richard. Now, Richie isn't an alcoholic, but he is adulterous. Given the fact that Nannie has cheated on all of her husbands, I don't know why this is such a big deal, but go off, okay? Maybe it's because Richard was dishonest about his cheating. Like, I think in the past she kind of knew, like, there was like this mutual understanding that they were both like stepping out on each other. But Richard would do things like tell her that he was running out to the store. Richie. And then he'd be gone for 4 or 5 hours, or like 5 or 6 hours.
And come back with no groceries.
And then when she would be like, hey, what took so long? He would respond, oh, I dawdled, I guess. Bruh.
I bet you did.
Bruh, you got to do better than that. You got to lie better. Lie better.
I bet he just doesn't make it.
This pisses Nannie off.
Yeah.
So a few months after their marriage in April or May, there are conflicting reports there, of 1953, she poisons Richard and he dies. There's not a lot of info about that. That's
the end.
That.
Okay.
So
end of
he dies.
Dick.
He dies in April or May. Very shortly thereafter, in June of the same year.
Holy.
Right. Like a month or two
Okay.
later, Nannie meets and quickly marries Samuel Doss in
Damn.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Just running through dick.
Wow. Well, and the other thing too is you said at the beginning that she taught herself to read on like romance novels. So there's got to be like something in her that believes in that fairy tale. Like you cannot break that fairy tale.
Yeah.
And so even if she cheats, it's in pursuit of that ideal or whatever.
Right. Unlike all of Nannie's other husbands, Samuel Doss was, by most accounts, a pretty decent guy. He was the minister of a Nazarene church. He was not a drinker or a cheater. All around fine. He had recently lost his wife and all 9 of his children in a tornado that had hit Madison County, Arkansas, not long before. So he was looking to fill that gap in his life. He wanted to fall in love again. Right? Poor
Bless
thing.
his heart.
Bless his heart. Now, even though he was nice, he did seem boring as fuck. He took issue with his
Nothing's
wife's...
good enough for Nannie.
Right. He took issue with his wife's enjoyment of romance novels and scandalous TV shows. That was a detail I left out. So she went from like romance... She was always loved romance novels, but she also, once TV became a big thing, got really into like her stories. You know what I mean? Really into TV. So much so that... when the house burned down, Arlie Lang's house, mysteriously, the television was out for repair. So the TV was fine.
That was lucky.
I watch my stories.
Yeah. But Samuel said that he did not approve of anything that was non-educational or non-enlightening.
Listen, motherfucker.
Boring.
You're not my dad.
Boring. And I guess Nannie couldn't handle the boredom, which, I mean, some people just need a challenge, you know? Still, there must have been something different about Samuel because instead of deciding to just kill him right away, she does take the more reasonable approach of leaving him.
Oh, there you go.
So she abandons him and she goes to Alabama. But Samuel seals his own fate when he calls her, begging her to come back.
Don't come home.
Now, I've seen pictures of Nannie. She had to have something going on. I don't know if it was some kind of, if it's that psychopathic like factor.
Yeah.
Charm.
It's got to be that because she's not
hot.
She's not an attractive person.
Yeah,
No.
so it doesn't
objectively.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had to have been charming. But so he begs her to come back, and it's not until this should have been a red flag, Samuel. I know you're lonely, but it's not until he agrees to sign his checking account over to her that she agrees to return. So she gets back, and she takes out 2 life insurance policies on him.
Wow.
With her as the beneficiary, of course. In September of that year, Samuel is admitted to the hospital with flu-like symptoms. The hospital diagnoses him with a severe digestive tract infection. He is treated and released 2 weeks later on October 5th. What? For Nannie, this is shocking. Like, usually...
She's like, wait, why are you back?
One and done situation.
Right.
She was already, like, moving his shit out. He comes home. She's like, honey, hi.
I was cleaning.
When he's sent home, he's happy. He's healthy. He's living his best life. He's well on the way to recovery. But Nannie, I'm sure she was all like wild-eyed and crazy. I just picture it like this. He comes home and she's like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing that you recovered. I'm so glad you're home.
Hotboxing a cigarette.
Let me cook you something good to eat. I'm going to cook your favorite meal. Right? So she does. And she laces it with arsenic. Like, a lot of arsenic.
Because she's like, it did not work last time.
Yeah, she's
you're
like,
going this time.
Got to be a little heavy-handed here.
He comes in the hospital. They're like, God damn,
Smells like
almonds.
Smells like marzipan up in this bitch. He died several hours later on October 12th, 1954. Nannie rushed to kill him because she wanted to collect those life insurance policies. But the rush alerted the doctors because they were like, he was here yesterday and he was fine.
Yeah.
He made sure he's healthy. That's why he was discharged. So this is weird that he would die this suddenly. So, of course, they ordered an autopsy. And it didn't take long for the medical examiner to determine his cause of death because he had enough arsenic in his system to kill 40 horses.
Wow.
Holy shit.
How much arsenic is that?
That's a lot.
And how do you get someone to eat that? Because I feel like you would taste it at that point, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I love almond cookies.
Nom, 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 nom. They promptly arrested Nannie, and when they took her, they promptly arrest Nannie, and when they look into her past, they see that 4 out of 5 of her husbands had died mysteriously, and suddenly, while they were married to her. Nannie is, and you know, I can kind of understand how this got lost because she was moving from state to state, right? She was
Hard
using
to track.
different insurance companies,
Of course,
every time. So it was understandable that in this time period, people would have not known, you know.
Yeah.
She's interrogated, and at first she refuses to speak, and she says, my conscience is clear. I married these men because I loved them. She's interviewed all night, and she doesn't say a thing, but as soon as news of her arrest spreads, people from all over start coming out with stories about her.
Oh, shit.
Again, you know, you'd think that people would have noticed this pattern, but they were different people in different towns. And now they're all coming out and being like, hey, this happened to her daughters. This happened to her grandkids. This happened to, you know. So now that she was in the news, it became clear that, like, hey, people around her tend to die.
Yeah.
Nannie still refused to speak until police bribed her with the promise of getting her a romance novel that she could keep in her cell.
Wow.
As soon as they gave her...
That is quite the bargain.
Yeah, and after that, she started talking pretty quickly after that. She confesses to the murders of 8 people. Her 4 husbands, Frank Harrelson, Arlie Lanning, Richard Morton, and Samuel Doss, as well as her mother, her sister Dovey, her grandson Robert, and her mother-in-law from the marriage with Arlie Lanning. She never confesses to the murder of her 2 daughters or her newborn granddaughter, but I mean,
Probably.
come on.
Yeah.
Nobody's that unlucky.
She's weirdly smiley and charming throughout the police interviews and in most pictures you see, which is why she gets the commonly used nickname, the giggling granny. They actually said police were very disconcerted with her demeanor. It seemed like she didn't understand the severity of her actions. She would laugh like when she was talking about these
Doing
things.
what she was. Oh,
And when
wow.
you look at pictures, almost all of them are, she's smiling in almost every picture that you see, even after her arrest. It's weird. She mentioned that her love of romance novels contributed to her actions, saying they gave her an unrealistic expectation of men. She said to the police, quote, "That's about it. I was searching for the perfect mate, the real romance of life."
Well, there you go.
I mean, wow.
Yeah. So at the time of Nannie's arrest, she had a 6th husband lined up and ready to go. A man in North Carolina who had...
He's all like,
she must have had something, because a man in North Carolina had fallen for her already. She was already sending him baked goods in the mail. And he
don't eat those.
Don't eat them. Don't do it. But he was like in the letters, he was like begging her to meet IRL. So
damn, Granny got it.
Granny got it. The state of Oklahoma centered its case on only Samuel Doss and not the other murders. She pled guilty on May 17th, 1955, and was sentenced to life imprisonment. The state did not pursue the death penalty due to her sex. Because she was a woman, they were not going to pursue the death penalty.
Even though she's a serial killer.
Right. Highly dangerous. Showed no remorse. She was never charged with the other deaths and reportedly remained happy and cheerful in prison throughout the remainder of her life until she died of leukemia in the hospital ward in 1965, 10 years later. So,
wow.
There you have it.
there you have it.
Wow.
Yoinks.
She fit a lot in 60 years.
No shit.
She really did. Yeah, like actually, I didn't even think of it
That's
like
a
that.
full life.
Yeah.
That's like 3 lives.
And she stayed married to one man for 16 years. So
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
really made up for lost time after that, huh?
Damn. Yeah, that was a good one.
Well, what are you guys watching?
Oh, well, I did watch Happiest Season, which I am excited to talk to you guys about for our Patreon. So if you want to hear our thoughts on that, join us over on Patreon. But I also watched, and it's funny that you chose Jon Favreau. I chose Tim Burton because last night I watched the Movies That Made Us Holiday Edition.
Oh, yeah.
So there are 2 episodes. One is Elf, which was directed by Jon Favreau.
Nice.
And the other was Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
So I love those episodes.
I loved Elf.
Yeah, that show has been on for a while with just other movies that made us.
Yeah.
And I just think
Like
it's really...
Toys That Made Us.
Yeah, it's just
Cute.
interesting to see what goes into it and see how, like, I love Elf and it was like almost not made and all of those things.
Oh, wow. Okay, I gotta watch it.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. Really. Other than that, I've just been binging The Crown, so nothing new to report.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, we tried to watch the Heaven's Gate cult thing last night, but things got out of hand. So I really want to watch that. Eric's got a couple of his like normal holiday movies that he likes to watch. I know, so he wants to rewatch Edward Scissorhands, which I think is cute for a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So but yeah, other than that, nothing really. I can't think. I'm still in Murder on Middle Beach,
Oh,
that
yeah.
HBO
Yeah.
thing. Oh my god,
Okay,
that last episode I watched is a fucking Bernanzers.
Okay.
It's so good.
All right, I'll get back to
You
it.
guys
'Cause
have
I
to
only watched the
watch-
first episode and was kind of like, meh.
You have to watch The Undoing. You have to do it. I
Oh,
finished
yeah.
it.
Okay.
Oh, it's good. It's only 6 episodes.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
I have
I'll watch
some.
it.
Well, I've been back into my crocheting mode. So I crocheted a stocking for Chris, which I was up until 1:30 last night doing because
It looks great.
dude, I put it together the way like this pattern showed and it looked crazy. Like it was just not, I don't know. So I had to like fucking unstitch the shit and put it back together in a way that made sense. And it turned out good. I like it. But that's been my thing. I've been crocheting and watching shows. So I watched all 3 of the Dan Brown movies.
Da Vinci
Code.
Oh my god. Why are you doing
I
this to
don't
yourself?
know.
It's like last
because I
weekend-
don't have to pay attention. So it's just ambient, right? So it's
Okay,
stuff
fair.
I've seen before and it's just background and I'm not having to pay attention to it. So I just watched all 3 of those fucking movies back to back as I was putting together crocheting a stocking.
That's what Eric's
So.
been doing. He's been rewatching all of the Marvel movies in like their
Their order.
chronology in time. you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the time
Yeah.
periods that they go through. I'm like, why?
This is the time of year for that, though. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this is when people do that. Like, we watched Star Wars last year. Like, I feel like it's the time of year when there's like a series.
Yeah,
that you
I did
kinda
all 3
wanna-
Bourne movies. I did
Yeah.
all 3 the stupid fucking Twilight movies, which
Yeah.
was 4 movies, but
Well,
it's like-
it gets dark so early.
Yeah.
You know? And honestly, right now, like there's
shit
zero
else to do.
things to do.
Dude, it is excruciating. Like, every
horrible.
night, Anthony and I are like, well, what now?
Yeah.
Like, every night, because it's just like we've played
Everything.
every
Everything.
game in our house.
Yep.
I'm so tired of watching TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, what else do we do?
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. We hopefully only have a couple more months of this.
We're fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
I've also been rewatching Medium. I actually, by rewatching, I've never watched Medium
liked
before.
Medium.
Yeah, I started
Yeah.
watching Medium.
Yeah.
So
Patricia
I'm binging.
Arquette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who I love her. But she is so mean to her husband on that show.
I remember that.
I'm
She
like,
is.
he's kind of a saint and you're kind of horrible to him. Yeah.
don't
I don't
remember
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's like being at that always makes me super uncomfortable
It
when you're at
does.
like a party or something like that, and then you see like couples being like weird with each other or whatever.
Yeah.
It makes me so uncomfortable.
You're like,
Anyway,
put on your game face, bitches.
if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have more holiday stories, New Year's party stories, any kind of stories at all, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. And we love you so much. Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.